In Edenia, King Jared gives his daughter Katana a special necklace. He explains that it's a gift from Lord Raiden, who is always listening. At that moment, Emperor Shao Kahn of Outworld arrives. He wants to unite all the realms under his rule, but the Elder Gods have set up some rules. Instead of a war fought by armies, there'll be one-on-one combats. If a realm can win 10 tournaments in a row, it'll be given dominion over its opponent. Edenia has already lost all its greatest warriors, so only Jared can save them now. Shao Kahn and Jared start fighting, both of them showing amazing skills. Jared manages to disarm Shao Kahn and gets his weapon stuck in a statue, but Shao Kahn quickly takes it back and the statue crumbles. As Jared keeps on fighting, he stabs Shao Kahn a couple of times, yet this isn't enough. Shao Kahn disarms Jared by pulling his sword through his fingers and kills him by stabbing him with his hammer. Afterward, Shao Kahn announces that Edenia belongs to him, and the sky turns dark. A desperate Queen Sindel steals a sword and starts fighting the guards, but they easily overpower her and capture her. Then Shao Kahn asks people to kneel, so Sindel and all the civilians do so. However, Katana goes to her father's body and retrieves a blue ribbon, which she ties in her hair. Shao Kahn decides to adopt her as his daughter. 20 years later, Katana is a mighty warrior currently training with Jade. At first it looks like Jade has the upper hand, but Katana grabs her ribbon and uses it as a weapon, allowing her to win the fight. On their way back to the palace, Jade mentions that today is the anniversary of her becoming Katana's bodyguard, and she's grateful because Katana always treated her like a sister. She thanks her by gifting her 2 fan blades. At the palace, Shao Kahn announces that the new tournament has begun and this time he wants Earth. At that moment they're joined by Shang Tsung, who has been looking for the Amulet of Shinnok, a relic that can heal any wound and transform a man into a god. Shang Tsung has discovered that the amulet was stolen by a mercenary named Kano. Meanwhile on Earth, Lord Raiden gathers his 4 champions. An hourglass indicates that the tournament will start soon, but they're still missing a warrior. They need to complete the team as soon as possible. In an old warehouse, Johnny finds himself surrounded by thugs. He gives them the finger before he starts fighting them, showing his amazing combat skills which allow him to fight multiple people without breaking a sweat. A woman almost shoots a rocket at him, but he senses her presence and throws a metal rod to kill her. As her body falls, the rocket is shot anyway, so Johnny jumps to dodge it and the rocket hits a helicopter instead. However, none of this is real. It's an old movie currently playing on a TV. Johnny used to be a very famous action star, but his glory days are gone. Now he tries to make money by signing autographs and sending merch at conventions, where nobody pays attention to him after the event. Johnny is in the parking lot putting away his things in his car when he's approached by Raiden and Sonya, who want him to join their team and fight in a tournament that will decide the fate of the world. Johnny thinks they're just some crazy fans and doesn't believe them, so Raiden uses his power to open a portal. Now Johnny believes them, so he crosses the portal to arrive at Raiden's Sky Temple. He watches the other champions train and realizes they have powers, which sounds unfair to him since he doesn't have any. Sonya explains that the tournament is called Mortal Kombat because the champions can die in battle, causing Johnny to freak out and announce he wants to quit. Raiden points out that Earth has lost 9 tournaments, so if they lose this one too, Shao Kahn will control their world. Johnny is still not convinced and reminds them he's just an actor. However, Sonya knows that he has 5 black belts and a world title, yet Johnny insists those days are over and leaves anyway. In Outworld, Quan Chi performs a dark ritual to revive one of the fallen champions. Soon his men return from Earth with Kano's body and Quan Chi uses his powers to revive him too. As soon as Kano wakes up, he remembers that Sonya killed him and destroyed his special eye. Quan Chi takes the amulet from him and leaves to take it to Shao Kahn. Kano follows him until Quan Chi uses magic to make him a new eye. When Kano puts it on, he confirms his laser is back. At the Sky Temple, the last sand grain falls and Sonya starts glowing because she's been chosen for the first tournament fight. After she disappears, Cole remembers that 2 champions are supposed to be chosen. In a bar, Johnny is watching videos of his old fights and gets so depressed that he asks for another drink, only to suddenly be teleported to the Outworld. Katana then appears in front of him as flames illuminate the sky. Each flame represents a fighter, and the tournament ends when a team runs out of champions. As soon as the gong is struck, Katana throws a fan blade, which Johnny dodges. Katana continues to attack with a combination of punches, kicks, and her blades, and Johnny does well for a while until she kicks him down. Finally deciding to take this seriously, Johnny fights back with proper moves, yet Katana brings him down again. When Johnny climbs on a roof, Katana throws her fan to slash his leg. Then she jumps and lands on his back, kicking him through the roof to make him fall. Shao Kahn asks Katana to finish him, but she doesn't move and Johnny passes out. A flame disappears in the sky to indicate he's lost as his body disappears. Meanwhile, Sonya meets Sindel, who has become Shao Kahn's consort and one of his champions. As spikes start popping out of the ground, Sonya shoots an energy bolt that Sindel easily dodges. When Sonya shoots again, Sindel uses her Banshee attack to block her and throw her against the wall. Another spike comes out and slashes Sonya's arm. Sindel attacks again and Sonya runs around the small room until she finds a skeleton, which she uses as a shield. This allows her to move forward and hit Sindel, making her scream stop. The women start fighting on the floor as spikes keep appearing around them, and Sindel screams again to throw Sonya off her. Next, Sonya hits her a few times with her both arms before grabbing her in a chokehold to try to push her into the spikes, but Sindel screams to prevent the stabbing. Sonya responds by shooting bolts through her body, then she traps her head and neck with her legs and throws Sindel on a spike, winning the fight. Both Sonya and Johnny are sent back to the temple, where Raiden informs Johnny that he's been eliminated. When Johnny goes to a corner to mope over his loss, Raiden follows him and says the gods chose him for a reason, he just needs perspective. The next day, Kitana goes to a small temple in the forest and puts on the necklace, which teleports her to Raiden's place. Johnny is angry to see her, but Raiden reveals that Kitana has been secretly working for him all along. She had to beat up Johnny properly to make it look real since Shao Kahn was watching. Kitana informs them that Shao Kahn found the amulet and if he charges it, he'll become unstoppable. She also tells the champions that her friend Jade is in the tournament and asks them to be nice to her. When Kitana returns to her world, she finds Jade outside the temple because she's been following her. Jade calls Kitana a traitor and reminds her that she swore loyalty to Shao Kahn. Later at Raiden's temple, the group is shocked to see their friend Kung Lao, who is supposed to be dead. Since it was Quan Chi who brought him back to life, he's still in the tournament but fighting for the opposite side. With a hand gesture he controls his hat, making it slash Raiden's neck. At the same time, 3 champions disappear. Kung Lao is called to the tournament too, but he calls his colleagues before disappearing. While Sonya fights Quan Chi, Johnny is attacked by Shang Tsung, who absorbs his energy before throwing him at the wall. Raiden tries to crawl away, but Shang Tsung starts absorbing his power into the amulet. Sonya then quickly shoots a bolt, causing their enemies to teleport away. In the Outworld, Quan Chi implants the amulet in the Emperor's chest to make him immortal. Seconds later in the sewers, Shao Kahn meets his opponent Cole, who immediately attacks and is easily knocked down. Cole shoots a beam that only makes Shao Kahn drop his hammer. Their fight properly begins and they exchange a few hits before Cole finally manages to land a beam on Shao Kahn, but it only pushes him without damage. Cole refuses to give up and keeps trying, even slashing Shao Kahn's neck and stabbing his chest. Yet the wounds quickly close and Shao Kahn strikes Cole with his hammer, instantly killing him. Then he throws Cole's body in the water. At the same time, Jax must fight Jade on the streets. Jax tells her she's on the wrong side as their battle begins and he uses his robot arms to try to destroy her weapon, but it's too strong to break. They continue to exchange attacks and Jax ends up disarming Jade. She still keeps fighting, but now she can't stop Jax and in just a few minutes, she collapses and he wins the fight. Jade tells him to finish it, but Jax remembers Kitana sparing Cole and helps her up instead so they're even. Meanwhile, Kung Lao's opponent is Liu Kang, who shoots fire at the hat blade but has to dodge it anyway. Their battle begins and Liu Kang has to be extra careful because he has to dodge or block Kung Lao's limbs but also his hat. After they exchange a few hits, Kung Lao manages to overpower Liu Kang and pushes him against a column, ready to kill him. A desperate Liu Kang tries to make him see reason, asking him to remember that they used to be on the same side. It's not enough to change his mind, and Kung Lao keeps attacking by using his hat as a portal that allows him to teleport. Accepting that he won't get his friend back, Liu Kang sets the hat on fire before it returns to Kung Lao's hand, but he just puts the flames out. The fight continues as the hat and the flames keep getting shot in between hits, until Liu Kang gains the upper hand by using his power on his own legs. This attack gets the hat stuck on the floor, so Kung Lao tries one last desperate move. Liu Kang grabs his hands and brings him down on the hat to kill him. Afterward, Shao Kahn puts the amulet away in a cage. Quan Chi asks him for Sub-Zero's body and brings him back to life as well. When the winning champions return to the temple, they learn that Raiden is barely alive. Their mood gets worse when they realize Cole hasn't come back because he died. Soon Kitana arrives and tells the group that Raiden's power is weakening so they need to stop Shao Kahn before the portal goes down. She tells them about an old tunnel under the castle that was only used by a race of mutant warriors known as the Tarkatans. Then Kitana returns to the Outworld, only to find the way blocked by Jade and 2 guards. Jade takes the fans and lets the guards arrest Kitana for treason. Meanwhile, the champions travel to the Tarkatan village and meet the leader Baraka. Liu Kang mentions that Shao Kahn treats the Tarkatans like slaves, so he asks for their help to bring him down. However, Baraka tells them to leave because he doesn't think they can win without an army to match Shao Kahn's. Liu Kang challenges him to a duel, but Baraka turns him down. Then Johnny starts insulting the clan and calls Baraka a coward, hoping to make him accept the challenge. Unfortunately, Baraka now wants to fight Johnny, not Liu Kang. The battle begins and Baraka uses a blade that he creates on his arm and can shoot projectiles. Johnny can't defend himself well and tries hiding inside a shack, but Baraka finds him anyway. Using a few objects, Johnny manages to block a few hits, yet Baraka is still too strong and punches him to send him flying through the roof. As Johnny rolls on the ground, Sonya tells him that if he's just an actor, then he needs to act. Johnny finally embraces his warrior persona and goes all out, so now his attacks are faster and actually land. In just a few seconds, he corners Baraka and keeps him distracted to land a hit on his groin, winning the fight. Baraka is impressed by Johnny's skills and agrees to help the champions. That night, Baraka guides them to the tunnel and kills the guards at the door. Unfortunately, he can't go with them because Tarkatans aren't allowed in the castle, so Baraka leaves before the champions cross the door into the castle. In the throne room, Shao Kahn wonders how he should make Kitana talk. Quan Chi has already revived Sindel, so he threatens to make Kitana watch him kill her mother. Kitana finally admits that she went to Earth, claiming she only wanted to meet Raiden but couldn't find him. Shao Kahn orders his men to chain Kitana in the town square so she can be an example of what happens to traitors. In a corridor, the champions split to look for the amulet, unaware that someone is watching from the shadows. Liu Kang ends up finding it first, but Shao Kahn immediately comes after him. A fight ensues and Liu Kang can tell that hitting Shao Kahn isn't enough, so he unleashes his special attack. Two huge fire dragons are shot at Shao Kahn and he stands in the middle of the flames for several seconds, yet this still doesn't damage him. The warriors continue to fight hand to hand and Liu Kang manages to disarm Shao Kahn, so he picks up the hammer and tries to destroy the amulet cage. Unfortunately, Shao Kahn stops him and knocks him down. At that moment, Jax arrives, so Liu Kang keeps Shao Kahn distracted with his strongest fire attacks while Jax uses his robotic arms to break the cage. Before Jax can grab the amulet, Shao Kahn pushes Liu Kang off and attacks Jax instead. As Johnny and Sonya also arrive, Shao Kahn impales one of Jax's arms with his hammer and rips it off. Sonya shoots some bolts at Shao Kahn, who hits her with Jax's arm. Sadly, he's too strong and it only takes him a couple of hits to bring her down. When he's about to finish her, Jax blocks him with his remaining arm. They fight a little longer and Shao Kahn brings Jax down again, hitting his other arm with the hammer too. At the same time, Johnny runs to grab the amulet, however Sub-Zero appears and takes it first. Shao Kahn uses the distraction to throw Jax against a column and stabs him in the hand and neck, brutally killing him. Sonya insults Shao Kahn and they both disappear for the next tournament fight. After Sub-Zero leaves, a bunch of guards show up with Kano, who insults Johnny's movies. Before the guards can capture Johnny, Kano makes them stand in line and kills them all at the same time with a single laser shot. Then the duo returns to the temple, where Kano explains he prefers the luxuries of Earth over the grittiness of the Outworld and that's why he wants to help them stop Shao Kahn. He reveals that Sub-Zero took the amulet to the Netherrealm, the land of the dead. Raiden will use what remains of his power to take them there, which means that if they don't destroy the amulet to get his powers back, they'll be stuck there forever. They'll also need a guide not to get lost. In the Netherrealm, Johnny and Kano find the spirit of Scorpion and ask him to be their guide. At first Scorpion says no, but his mood drops when he hears that Sub-Zero was revived. Scorpion remembers that Sub-Zero killed his family and his grief and anger transformed the environment into hell. His body is covered in armor as he agrees to help. In the Outworld, Jade chains Kitana up in the town square. Kitana tries to appeal to Jade's kindness but her pleas are ignored. Then Jade goes to Shang Tsung and says she wants to help protect the amulet, so he uses his power to enchant her weapon. In the town square, Liu Kang and Sonya find Kitana. Before they can do anything, Shao Kahn appears for the final tournament fight. Sonya and Liu Kang try their best to work together to fight against him with their powers, but Shao Kahn is too powerful and can easily handle them both. He brings Sonya down and almost kills her, however Liu Kang stops him with his fire. After wandering through the Netherrealm for a while, the group encounters Sub-Zero, who shows off his new shadow power that allows him to create duplicates. These copies fight Johnny and Kano while Scorpion fights the real Sub-Zero, whose new ability allows him to pass through hard surfaces and move out of reach pretty fast. The duplicates have the same ability, so after they slip off a few times, Johnny manages to grab one and holds it while Kano destroys it with his laser. However, the second duplicate captures Kano from behind. Kano shoots the Shadow's belt to make the amulet fall before he disappears while Johnny slides across the ground to catch the relic right before it falls into the flames of hell. Now they have to destroy it, but they have no idea how. At that moment the duplicate returns, so Kano makes Johnny run away with the amulet while he stays to fight. The duplicate kicks Kano and throws him off the edge, but he avoids falling by stabbing the wall with his knife. He also uses his laser to create some crevices that can help him climb, only to lose his knife in the process. The duplicate rushes to help the real Sub-Zero fight Scorpion, who uses his chain to keep up with both warriors simultaneously. In the Outworld, Liu Kang keeps fighting Shao Kahn and blocks the hammer with his fire, but this is useless. Shao Kahn quickly turns around and uses the handle to stab Liu Kang, who says that his destiny is to bring back Kung Lao before disappearing in a bird of flames. Meanwhile, Sonya shoots her bolts at the chains to free Kitana before Shao Kahn hits her with the hammer again to defeat her. The last light disappears in the sky and Shao Kahn announces he's won, so Earth is his. However, Kitana summons her fans and renounces Shao Kahn in the Outworld, saying she wants to fight for Earth. A new light appears in the sky, accepting her as the new champion and making Shao Kahn the last one of his team. A vicious battle begins between them and Sonya's blade stabs Shao Kahn multiple times, yet it's still impossible to really hurt him. In the Netherrealm, Johnny watches Scorpion use his abilities while wondering how to proceed. The duplicate sees him and teleports to capture him, holding him over the edge as a threat. Johnny refuses to give him the amulet and kicks him, causing him to fall off. His body has a rough landing on a lower platform and accidentally drops the amulet. Then the duplicate returns to Sub-Zero's battle, where they keep splitting and coming together to fight Scorpion. When the two of them are fused into one, Scorpion stabs him with his chains and pulls the copy out to slice it open with his sword. While Shao Kahn knocks out Katana, Sub-Zero flees his battle to retrieve the amulet. Then he gets ready to kill Johnny, but at that moment Jade appears. It turns out Katana's words did change her and she was acting to get a better weapon, which she now uses to shoot a beam at the amulet. Kano also returns and shoots his laser as well. Lastly, Scorpion joins them with his fire breath. In the temple, Shang Tsung approaches Raiden, ready to finish him. Raiden talks in Johnny's mind to wake him up and remind him that the gods chose him. This awakens his powers, so he throws a kick full of energy and they finally destroy the amulet. The power returns to Raiden just in time for him to stop Shang Tsung's attack. In the town square, Katana tries a desperate last attempt, hitting Shao Kahn with her fans. This time his wounds don't close and he's shocked to see the blood. Katana quickly disarms him and stabs him several times, even slashing his face with her rotating fan before stabbing him in the neck. Shao Kahn grabs her by the neck and chokes her, calling her weak like her father. Remembering Jared's support, Katana takes her ribbon and jumps to wrap it around Shao Kahn's neck. She removes his helmet to show the crowd his face before finally killing him by rotating her fans against his skull. The tournament is finally over and Adinas is free again, so the crowd declares Katana their new queen. Sometime later, Katana sits on the throne with Jade as her right hand. Meanwhile, Johnny is telling this whole story to the Tarkatans, but he's interrupted by Raiden and the champions. Kano has captured Quan Chi, so they plan to use him to bring back all the warriors they lost in previous fights. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.